As people near retirement, they'll often ask themselves the question of where will my income come from when I do officially retire? And people who start to establish a game plan will often make a list of the different income sources they'll have access to. This may include retirement accounts like your 401k or your IRA, filing for Social Security, or even drawing on a pension when you get to the right retirement age. But I find that people will often land on the topic of their home. And for those that aren't planning on downsizing in retirement, they will simply say, well, we're not planning on moving or downsizing. And so we can kind of cross that off our list as a source of income in retirement. And I found that that can be a mistake if you don't explore that as you're nearing retirement, because the concept of a reverse mortgage is essentially, true to its name, the opposite of what a mortgage did for you. It's essentially a way for people to tap an additional income source in retirement where they can work with the bank to get a monthly amount that may help bridge an income gap when they reach retirement. A couple of different scenarios where this might be effective for your family. One instance may be a couple that's married, but they don't have any children and they're not looking to pass along their primary home to family members when they pass. Instead of having all this equity built up in their home with no way to tap into it without selling the property, a reverse mortgage could be a great way to get an additional income stream that you need to meet monthly expenses that you may not be able to meet if you're just tapping your 401k or your IRA or Social Security. From a tax perspective, one scenario where you might want to consider a reverse mortgage is for somebody that says, listen, I'm going to retire in my early 60s. But if I know if I file for Social Security, my benefit is going to be vastly reduced. Is there any way to get another income source coming in every month, delay that filing for Social Security, and ultimately get a higher lifetime benefit by doing that? And a reverse mortgage can be a great way to get an income stream going early on, allow you to delay something like Social Security, and ultimately get a higher benefit when you do file for Social Security. So I think, there's multiple ways to approach this. You have to look at your family situation, you have to look at your tax situation, and I've found that when you hear about topics like these or read about them, they promote a lot of the positives, but the negatives are not always covered when you read articles about topics like this. And reverse mortgages certainly have their pitfalls. A couple that I would name would be, if something happens to you, typically your heirs may only get 30 days to either sell the property or resolve the outstanding mortgage that has come up because you filed for a reverse mortgage. And so, if you don't have a good plan in place with your family of how they are supposed to handle this once you pass in a quick fashion, they may find themselves in trouble. I think a second trouble spot that can come up with people is if they don't maintain the property, if they don't pay the taxes or the insurance, they risk the bank coming in and taking over the property. And so for people that are in retirement who are tapping a reverse mortgage, but were never planning on moving out of their property, you better make sure that you know what you're getting into before you file for a reverse mortgage, because you would hate to have to scramble and find another way to adjust to your living situation in the time period of your life when you need it the most. I always suggest talking to your accountant, your financial advisor, to make sure everyone's coordinating before you make this decision.